What's up, guys? My name is Jordan, and welcome to Fighting for My Voice, where I talk about my own personal life experiences and advocacy for childhood apraxia of speech and other types of disabilities as well. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so happy to be filming again. In this video, I really wanted to talk about the subject of what can help communication for children and teenagers and adults with childhood apraxia of speech. I have a lot of speech language pathology programs actually watch my video, and if you're watching this video in your class, I love you so much. Thank you for what you do for our field. Love you. But I wanted to talk about what can help communication and what do SLPs really need to know, and what do I wish SLPs knew for me as a child who grew up with a profound to severe case of childhood apraxia of speech. So let's get right into the video, but all of my social media links are going to be below. You can check out my book series called Jordan's World and Jordan's Journeys. They're non-fictional children's books about my life growing up with verbal apraxia. Number one, the first thing I wish that SLPs definitely knew growing up and people knew is to accept all forms of communication. There's no level of communication that is more worthy than the other. So the first goal should not be verbal speech. That's a hill I will die on. If I die on one hill, I will die on that hill, because you have to first have communication. We have to be able to communicate our basic wants, thoughts, and needs. And research has shown that AAC helps promote verbal speech. Actually, in all of the research studies that we have done, there's been no negative impacts on verbal speech at all. We only saw promotion of verbal speech. But even if a person is an AAC user, I'm a part-time AAC user, it doesn't mean that it's bad. It doesn't mean that using AAC is bad. It's a worthy form of communication, just like verbal speech is. Number two, please be sure that your child or your clients' sensory needs are met. Now, there's a lot of theories within the field that childhood apraxia of speech is a sensory motor planning speech disorder. This is a very controversial topic. I can personally say I have sensory processing disorder, and based off of all the adults that I've talked to who have grew up with childhood apraxia of speech, pretty much all of them report that they have some sort of sensory issues in some way, even if it doesn't meet the full criteria of sensory processing disorder, meaning they might feel sensory dysregulated. Research shows us that when a child, a person is sensory unregulated, they cannot learn. I can personally say when I was in speech sessions and I was not sensory regulated because my sensory needs were not taken care of, I was not able to fully participate within the session. I was inside of the room, but my mind was elsewhere. It was like across the field or something. So I wasn't able to fully participate. This affects the time within the session. So people might be asking, well, what does sensory needs have to do with apraxia? What is he talking about? We have to be sure we meet the full person's needs to ensure full accessibility for the session so they can fully participate and make the most out of the session. Taking care of sensory needs is super important. If you suspect a person does have sensory processing alongside of childhood apraxia of speech, which is very common, be sure to refer out to an occupational therapist, and they can give you tools and tips on how to meet their sensory needs. Number three, motor helps motor. Now, I move my hands a lot in my videos. You will see me doing like little hand gestures all throughout my videos. Why do I do hand gestures? Why do I move my hands? Why do I move my body? Why do I move my eyes at times when I talk? You might see me at times move my eyes and such. That is because motor helps motor. So any type of movement for me helps promote my verbal speech. So I am really prominent on not restricting a person moving their hands when they're talking. If they want to like sway back and forth or something like that, like I'm in a chair where I can right now, I would definitely encourage that. When I was growing up, there's a lot of professionals that just wanted me to sit in my chair and did not want me to move, and only did like flashcards and such, which I wasn't the biggest fan of. I can tell you that was not productive for me. I needed to move, but they tried to do things that were more socially appropriate, more so to say. Like they would tell me that to like tap my foot or to tap my fingers. That did not work for me. I personally need more movement, perhaps because once again, when I was originally diagnosed, I was diagnosed as a profound case of childhood apraxia. So to me, that would make sense. I could see where that would make sense. Needed more movement. If I was able to move around in the session, if I was able to move freely, if they wouldn't have forced eye contact with me, because sometimes I need to move my eyes because my words are up here, just like when I was growing up. I knew what I wanted to say at all times. I knew everything I wanted to say. I thought in full sentences, full thoughts, even though people had doubts about that. My brain works the same as any other person, just besides, what just came out right there, the apraxia. Number 4, and this is something I want everybody to know, especially if you're a speech language pathologist or if you're a parent who has a child with childhood apraxia of speech. Childhood apraxia of speech must have a motor planning approach. Let me say that again. Childhood apraxia of speech must have a motor planning approach. Other types of approaches on childhood apraxia of speech are not effective according to research. So treatments that we would traditionally use for like a child with a phonological speech disorder or a fluency speech disorder, they are not effective on childhood apraxia of speech. So what is a motor planning approach? A motor planning approach are different things that we use within the actual session. So we might do individualized feedback, prompting, cueing. We really want the motor planning approach is really described as intensive. Now, motor planning treatment is something I want everybody to know. What are the different types of motor planning treatments? First, I will leave a link in the description to an organization called Child Apraxia Treatment. I absolutely love them. You guys will have to check them out. And if you need any information as well on treatment approaches, you can reach out to the 501c3. I'm founder and president of the Apraxia Foundation, Hearing All Voices. We're so passionate about what we do. But Child Apraxia Treatment has a full list of motor planning treatments. I would definitely suggest to look down there for the full list. But what are some of the different types? Some types include DTTC, REST, KSLP, otherwise known as Kaufman, prompt, and there's more types of motor planning treatments. And it's so important because according to ASHA, a person with childhood apraxia of speech will not make gains without the research evidence-based treatment. And this is why I founded the Apraxia Foundation, as I was speaking about previously, a 501c3 nonprofit where our mission is to help individuals affected by childhood apraxia of speech afford research evidence-based services and AAC, because I firmly believe communication is a basic human right, and I know if I didn't get the research evidence-based treatment, I would not be where I'm at today. So I want to give all the information possible. I want to educate people, and I want to give your kids, your teenagers, your adults every chance in the world, because that's absolutely what they deserve. Thank you so much for watching this video. I talk a lot now since I can talk. But if you have any other videos that you guys would like to see, things that you would like me to cover, leave a comment down below. I'm always looking for suggestions, and I want to make content that is helpful for you guys. So what do you guys need to know? What do you guys want me to talk about? What are you guys going through? So I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, my social media links are going to be down below. You can check out my book series, Jordan's World, Jordan's Journeys. You can also get merchandise down below, and that helps me be able to advocate full time because I'm so passionate about advocating. I love you guys so much, and as always, I hope this helps.